Okay. All right. Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, and loving life. Before we get started, I want to just remind everybody go ahead and hit that share, like, and subscribe button. PayPal link is pinned to the top. Feel free to share some love through that. And every little bit counts. 10, 15, 20 bucks, whatever you can do is always helpful. In the meantime, remember if you're on Hecklebus and haven't subscribed to El Perro, go over there and do so. And if you're on El Perro, go over to Hecklebus and subscribe over there. And if you look in the comments section, you'll see greetings all. Be sure to hit those buttons to help the algorithm get this info out. And that's mentioned 4 times by all 4 of my profiles. You notice there are some likes down there already because I went through and liked all 4 profiles. And this is one thing I want to mention to everybody that has multiple profiles. That's a way to help the algorithms of people that you really do support. So even if you're not hitting that PayPal button, hit them likes through all of your profiles if you got multiple profiles. And by hitting that share button, you get it out to other people. So make sure to do those things. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get started, because this is an important topic that I think a lot of people are missing out on. And so we're going to start out by showing you exactly how your life starts out through that enumeration at birth, which is the birth registration at the hospital, which leads to a birth certificate. Okay. It all starts out with that informant, which we've discussed before, indicates that there's an investigation, investment, the mentality of investing. Okay. That investment happens when mom goes to the hospital to bear her young. Okay. When she goes to that hospital, she signs that registration document. That's specifically with the intent to receive inpatient hospital services. And we're going to show you that. That is the definition of a spell of illness. Real close. This is 42 U.S. Code 1395X says definitions. You'll find this link down in the details section of the video. And it says, for purposes of this subchapter, and you'll notice 42 U.S. Code again is public health services, okay, Social Security Administration, and which means it's all employee benefits. You have to be part of the administration. You have to be an employee. Otherwise, if you're not, then you're listed as an individual, and it's a voluntary position for national and community services. Spell of illness. The term of spell of illness with respect to any individual, 5 U.S.C. 552A, or excuse me, 5, let me double check that. (552A), records maintained on individuals. 5 U.S. Code 552A, records maintained on individuals. And that's 5 U.S. Code, which is employees. So we go back to spell of illness. Individual means a period of consecutive days. The term spell of illness with respect to any individual means a period of consecutive days beginning with the first day, not included in a previous spell of illness, A, on which such individual is furnished or receives inpatient hospital services, inpatient critical access hospital services, or extended care services, and B, which occurs in a month for which he is entitled to benefits under Part A when it's a she. See, the welfare program is specifically for the health and welfare of women and children. Okay? Ending with the close of the first period of 60 consecutive days thereafter, on each of which he is neither an inpatient of the hospital or critical access hospital, nor an inpatient of a facility described in section 1395A-3A1 of this title, or subsection Y1. Oops. Didn't mean to click that. In a month for which he is entitled to benefits. Everyone, when they're born, qualifies for benefits under Part A. This is the enumeration at birth. And when mom goes in, she qualifies. She's entitled, whether she has any identification or not. Even if she was a foreigner, an immigrant, the hospitals have a duty and obligation for preservation of life. This, again, is why it's for the women and children. The woman is the next of kin, not the dad. And the reason it's set up for women and children, again, is because it's a military venue supplying for the provisions of women and children if daddy happens to go missing or is killed in war and can't support them. Okay? Now, with respect to any individual, so beginning on the first day, mom goes into the hospital to have that baby. And guess what? She has that baby on her first day, and now the baby has a first day as well. Not included in a previous spell of illness, and it's not a previous spell of illness because it's a separate spell of illness of another individual. It's his first day, her first day under a spell of illness. And it has had no previous spell of illness, whether it is defined as a he or she. So let's look at the next one. And before we go on, I want to remind everybody once again, hit that share, like, and subscribe button. If you feel kind enough to help share some love, hit that PayPal link and throw some. In the meantime, I don't see anybody that wants to come up on panel yet. So we'll get back to it with the next section. And we're going to go back a few steps because the last one was 42 U.S. Code 1395X. We're now at 1395A. Free choice by patient guaranteed. So when you have the ability to go into that hospital to bear your young, I hope you learn how to be preemptive and go in with a memorial so that when that baby is born, you can place the name on it by determination of the sex. And you shouldn't be trying to determine the sex prior to, in my opinion. See, it's that prenatal record where mom goes to the hospital and now the doctor has on record that he's providing for two individuals. So, in providing for those two individuals now through a prenatal record, it's a presumption placed on the record long before it exists, and they will label it as baby boy or baby little, first. And then when it's actually born, they will put baby boy on it, and if you don't give them a name, or baby girl. So even if you don't give them a name, it's still going to have baby boy little or baby girl little, going by the last name, the patronymical name, because without that, they have no way to determine the paternity through the mother's maiden name, because even the mother's maiden name is her father's inherited name. So there is really no maiden name once that woman gets married and has a child and it goes by the father's name. It's a reference to the paternity of the father's lineage, so that doesn't get lost. It's not supposed to be for military reference. Okay? Basic freedom of choice, an individual entitled to insurance benefits. And remember, guys, you're not entitled to it. It's specifically for the general welfare of women and children. You have to make a choice to take upon the benefit yourself in a younger capacity. And this is where they say, well, if you're going to do that, you have to sign up for the selective service. And most people don't know that is also a choice, and get duped into believing that they're required to sign up for selective service because they were under the care of a single mother who took upon the benefits of the state. And so they were already accepting of the state's benefits as a male, even though it applies to the women and children, but he was defined as a male growing up in that military school. The school is military also, even if it's a 501c3 Catholic school. Still a military school. And so when he's growing up with that single mom, or even if he's got married parents and they're doing good, it's presumed that once he's 14 years of age, he's a volunteer through National Community Service. And that's when he starts volunteering to do things. And it's implemented through programs like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Yeah. And school and college grant programs. Always things to build that ego up. Under this subchapter, may obtain health services from any institution, agency, or person qualified to participate under this chapter if such institution, agency, or person undertakes. What do undertakers do? What? Did you know that they have specific instructions at the Bureau of Vital Statistics that when they get a birth registration to mark it down as deceased? The next one, when they're released from the hospital, that's a release. Yeah. And now they're under partial hospitalization services in the same section, 42 USC 1395X. So the term partial hospitalization services means the items and services, not the patient, not the person, nothing like it, just the items and services described in a paragraph, prescribed by a physician, and provided under a program described in paragraph 3, under the supervision of a physician, pursuant to an individualized written plan of treatment established the day he was born, she was born, it was born, birthed, however you want to put it, and periodically reviewed. You know what periodical reviews are, right? Okay. By a physician in consultation with appropriate staff, military staff, participating in such program, which plan sets forth the physician's diagnosis. So now we're talking about items and services described in a plan. Just go with the plan, folks. Just go with the plan. It's a spell of illness. And as long as you keep going to their spells and learning their spells and competing in those spelling bees, you're never going to get an A. The diagnosis, the type, amount, frequency, and duration. Duration, a span of time. Contract, with time. Tract means time. It's a duration of the items and services provided under the plan. So they undertook a plan and the goals for treatment. Treatment. Mentality of a treat. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. You want a treat? Keep doing what they tell you instead of doing your research and learning this stuff. I assure you, people, I don't play games. I do my research so I can point it out to them and let them know where they're confused and where they need to get out of their imagination. Because I'm not in my imagination. I'm not the one confused. Again, like I said, the courts don't want me back. It's been 7 years. They put out a bench warrant. I gave them a little notice. They didn't act upon it. They acquiesced totally. I got it on record. It's in public record already. It's placed. Everybody, I went to them in private. Then I did the second step and went to the public. Now, if they want to advance, I guess the third step is acquiescence again. Because they've already shown 2 acquiescence. Now they have to overcome them both and explain why they didn't respond. That's a lot to overcome. You have to prove that you didn't violate the process that's due. They made a public issue out of a private thing, person, or place that's none of their business to do. It's the same thing they do with that spell of illness. They made it a public issue because you didn't clarify the privacy. When you go to customs, they ask, do you have anything to declare? You should be making that declaration right away. It's a memorialization of the legacy heir that the mother is bearing forth in her young. The man is discharged of his mother's waters. And when man took his first breath, the breath of life that was breathed into his nostrils, he became a living soul. And yet they continued a record of a man, a woman. That's an agricultural term. And again, 7 U.S.C. 136 says animal includes man, proving that they're treating you as an animal. Treatment. How do you want to be treated? Do you want to be treated as an animal, a man, or a living soul? Come out of her. It's all in the spelling. Anyway, didn't want to make it long. I'm glad it's a short one again. I might be back after a bit to do another one on the corporate entity being able to vote, since they're classified as persons. Yeah, Delaware. Yeah, they're trying to pass a law that says Delaware can cast a vote, that corporate entities in Delaware can cast votes in your elections. This is what's happening. Now, how much does your vote count? Think about it, folks. Don't you have to have a residency? Don't you have to have a birth certificate to declare some kind of nationality in order to be able to register to vote, to make sure that you're not trading with an enemy? Is this something they're trying to circumvent through the legal definitions? See, this is why Trump said you're committing treason. You're not supposed to be voting to begin with, because Delaware is stating exactly what the law says. You're supposed to be a corporate entity in order to register to vote. You have to be organized under the laws of the United States. You have to have a contract with the Federal Reserve. You have to have a board of directors so you can hire an attorney to present a suit in court. And y'all acting like nothing but big dummy corporations. Because you're big dummies, doing everything they believe that they're telling you because you believe, instead of doing your research. Again, don't believe me. As I've shown in most everything I do, I show you the sources, where it's at, how it's plain writing, and how I interpret it. You take it for what it is. I can explain it to you, but I can't comprehend it for you. But it's plain writing. If you don't read between the lines like I do, let me know. Show me there's a discrepancy. Come on up on panel. I need to discuss this. I need to know that I'm not the lunatic. Because this is the way I see it. I think it's pretty plain writing, as they say in 5 U.S.C. 301, departmental regulations, where it's applicable to the Department of Defense and has the Plain Writing Act and the minimum birth registration requirements. It's all plain writing, folks. It's got to be. They've got to make it so easy for that a 7th grader can comprehend it, because the average comprehension level is 7th, 8th grade. when you start reading their public laws and all of this and that, you're going to start getting up into 24th grade reading level. 24 reading levels. Did you know that, folks? So think about it and remember that spell of illness is putting you under their military armor. And like David and Goliath, he shed off the nation's armor in every aspect. He didn't want anything to do with the nationality and how it works, but rather stood on his faith in God, constantly affirming that faith of God's will so that his works would turn out to be profitable unto men, not the will of a nation or its corporations, period. You got to come out of her. Anyway, I hope you guys do your research, follow up on it, get back with me and other people that are doing this research so you can ask further questions and grow and get better at this stuff yourself. In the meantime, remember, I love you and you know the rest. God bless. And like I said, I might be back. So watch for it. Bye.